A big hello and welcome to the Women Economic Forum Global Digital Summit 2020. I'm Kalpana Chauhan. I'm moderator for today's session on the topic Increasing Transparency and Management in Business. We are privileged to have with us today a very accomplished speaker who would share her thoughts on the topic. I would like to introduce Diana Leon Franco, who's a journalist from the University of Havana with a Master in Social Sciences, mention in Gender and Development granted by the Latin American Faculty of Social Sciences. She's a consultant in political communication, gender, and democracy, former advisor to the President of the National Electoral Council, university professor, speaker at national and international events, such as the 8th Forum of Latin American Democracy, and lots more to tell. But I'm really happy that we have you here, Diana, and I welcome you. And without wasting any further time, over to you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to me to stay in this important event, and very good afternoon for you here in Ecuador. Is this early morning?
Oh, okay. That's the
Yeah.
fun of having this format.
Yeah. I'm going to make my presentation in Spanish part, and then I will make a short summary in English. I don't know if it's problem I explain in English or in Spanish, or you prefer that I speak only in English.
I think it's better if we stick to English because most of our audience will be able to understand it better. Because we have
Okay.
global format and most people would understand English over Spanish.
Thank you very much. It's important, this presentation. Okay. I am very excited to be able to share with you some central ideas in World Forum with women that we believe in more transparent and democratic societies. My central axis of exposure in transparency throughout the system of nation that today face the fight against corruption. I want to talk about an important quadrant of this process. First, the role the state. Second, the participation of civil society. Third, the performance of business sector. And fourth, the empowerment of citizens as whole. There is not corruption with corruptor. And in the file of the fight against corruption from business sector is also collide with unfair competition. This means the honest businessmen come across an improvised sector, often with company established in the last day or hours, which are effectively the ones who make shady alliance. Unfair competition with poor transparency practice is breeding ground for corruption. With this starting point, I would like to analyze the issue by dividing the axis of transparency in the business sector and its articulation with all these actors, institutions, and sector, which leads to the imminent need for joint responsibility. Also role as women in access to public service and what we are exposed to in the fight against corruption. I would like to exemplify this with the Ecuadorian experience, because I am from Cuba, but I'm stay here since 15 years ago. And antecedent in the health emergency due to the coronavirus, for example, this require public procurement process in the state to resolve emergency in the various sector affected. In the case for the emergency crisis, such as the worldwide spread of coronavirus now, and comprehensive policy in the order to have sufficient resource to reduce infection and save life. In this time, a permanent vigilance is also required in the use of public funds. In this way, do not let the fight against corruption enter a process defenseless when people and their family are concerned with living and surviving. Well, here in Ecuador is a case particularly, no? This is not exclusive issue for public authorities, but for certain company. Not all them that seek not profit in the days of COVID-19 and pay bribes to be favorites with public contracting process, which manage the people's money. It is in the scenario with the policy of greater transparency, of strengthening social control and permanent vigilance against any act of corruption, deserve priority and strategy to defend the most precious thing that people and their family have, health and life. Currently, there are mechanisms in Ecuador for response to be found from the civil society. Mailing the National Corruption Commission, for example, a civil society organization that not receive public rebate or international funds, the National Anti-Corruption Commission in Ecuador has been evidencing and investigating how historically profit was made from public resource in the public health network, and how this is dependent in the context of the pandemic. Those facts are not foreign in our realities. And let us remember that international transparency pointed out that one of the sector vulnerable to corruption in the acquisition of medicines and supplies. Approximately 10 to 20% of money spent on acquisitions in the loss worldwide, precisely in corruption, is terrible. 10 to 20% of the money spent on acquisitions in lost worldwide precisely like in corruption, as indicated by the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, UNODC. In the Ecuadorian case, one should also be aware of the result of concrete action by public institutions. Corrupt networks involving public and private sector are currently being dismantled. Well, a concrete result, a score of overpriced case were reported in Ecuador, which worsened, as mentioned, at this stage of the pandemic, which not only cruel but criminal. Traffic and trail with health and life company standards with a frequency and a mechanism in the public health and social security network, inflating place even for the covers of the debt. Fighting corruption is not easy task, and citizens still need to be more aware for the high cost of this practice in their daily life. No, what I mailing in share of care do is sexual division of work and role and is the stereotypical and unfair way. What's about women? No, I want to put in the public and citizen concept that one several consequences in the fight against corruption, such as sextortion, which is defined in the Global Barometer of Corruption, Latin American, Caribbean of international transparency as the practice where people the
Diana, your video is stuck. Is there a connectivity issue at your end? Hello, Diana.
hello. I think
I'm
that
sorry. I think we lost you for some 2 minutes.
oh, not problem.
I'm
I am. Thank you very much. But I told about what about women in the anti-corruption fight. I like to explain a concept that explain international transparency in the Global Barometer of Corruption. I want to put in the public and citizen a concept about the sextortion, which is defined in the Global Barometer of Corruption. No, as the practice where the people, the phrase said, are forced to perform favor in a chain of obtained public service, such as those related to health and education. Sexual extortion or sextortion is one of the most significant forms of corruption based on gender and is considered a serious problem where 1 in 5 people experience is when accessing a certain public service. And they know someone who went through this situation. This was stated by international transparency. In case of corruption, the barometer also indicated that is women who historically are disproportionately affected. This has its origin in the analysis that determine that they are the main breadwinner of family and they depend fundamentally on public service. Transparency, international transparency said, which also make them more vulnerable to certain type of bribery. Thus, the barometer indicate that more than 70% of people indicate that extortion occurs occasionally, while only 8% indicate that it's never happened. Well, to conclude, I would like to call for co-responsibility in the fight against corruption. That is, in the face of the case, women are not afraid to report, but that there is also adequate protection for whistleblowers. We see how affect corruption if we also look of the role of women in promoting transparency. Another call is not generalized because just as there are an honest public official, there are also honest entrepreneurs who have managed to have capital and with work and effort. We need co-responsibility so that it's not generalized, side by side, and the proposal to fight corruption and transparency is effectively a path. Unimpulse and a reason for living. But what does teach is that's the best fight against corruption is the independent one in political and economical way. We are not tied to any one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. And I think in India also we are fighting a lot of corruption issues, and we have come forward definitely, and the fight is still on. In many ways, it is still seen and felt in daily lives of people, and people are really taking steps to, as the country grows and as the country tries to reach somewhere, then this is the basic problem that has to be eliminated from society. So I completely agree with your views. However, I have a question for you, if I may ask.
Yes.
So when we talk of corruption, we generally talk of corruption in the government departments and in the bureaucratic systems. So obviously increasing transparency there will definitely help. But how about businesses? If businesses are also the other part of the corruption, if businesses and we as a society decide that we will not take part in corruption by paying bribes, then automatically the problem will get solved to some extent. So what do you feel? Is it not something that has to be mutual along with the officials and the bureaucrats?
Well, I think that we have to combat the corruption of all systems. In the first time in my explain, I said that is quartered. For example, we need to have an important vigilance to the anti-corruption. No, I want. I want to explain that this problem is not only from the business, no, is in have many processes. For example, first, the role of the state, the participation of civil society, the performance of the business, for example, sector, and empowerment of citizens as a whole, no? I think that the co-responsibility is not only from the business, no, because when how I said there is not corruption without corruptors, no, and it's important that have a co-responsibility in this process, no, and I know. That this process it is utopia, no, but we need to begin in the fight for our society, no.
Very true, Diana, very true. When you say that it is half of the problem, I completely agree with you, because one hand takes, the other hand gives. So both the hands are 50% responsible. So there has to be action on both the sides of it.
Yes, okay, but the laws have to be done, no, in the country. Um, I don't know what do you think because I think that also recover stolen money. No, the lawyer also recover stolen money is another uh, criterion. No.
Yes, yes, true. I truly agree with your point, and very well said, very well put. The tackling this issue at all levels actually is needed, and it will help in that way only. And coming to transparency, so I definitely feel that transparency is something which is one single thing which will really affect this problem in a very big way. So making businesses transparent, making government offices transparent, and putting it in front of the public, whatever it is, will definitely help. So what is your view on that?
Yes, and transferring process from companies, from business, no, not falling into this process, uh, corruption, no, this corrupt process. I think I am think there is the way, no, transparency, and the way is co-responsibility for the many actors in this fight. No, I don't know what do you think.
Very true, very true. I perfectly echo your views, and I agree to you. It was such a great talk, and I'm so happy that you were able to be here with us and share your thoughts with us. Uh, a very big thank you to you, and for giving your valuable time. It was a wonderful session, and I'm sure that lots of food of thought for thought we have after this session. And uh, I have an announcement to make. I'm thrilled to announce this iconic woman creating a better world for all award that is being conferred at this Global Digital Summit of Women Economic Forum to Diana Leo Franco as recognition for the outstanding work that you have been doing, Diana. And since this is a digital format, you will receive it in your mailbox, the award. And congratulations. And we are so happy to confer this on you. And more details about this will be sent out to you in an email. And congratulations.
Thank you very much. I speak in English, but my native language is Spanish, and I hope that you hear very good the sound phrase for this Spanish explain now.
Yeah, we were able to understand. I really appreciate that. And I didn't feel that there is any issue with that. So it was totally fine, totally comfortable.
Yes, because I asked you in the first of this time if I am going to my presentation in Spanish if it's possible, but a part and we'll make a short summary in English. But it's not problem. I think that is important to talk with you in English, and I hope that you understand my English.
Yeah, we definitely understood, and I'm so sorry for that inconvenience to you, because this is the format of the program, so we have to stick to it.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I understand you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jan. It was lovely to have you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hear very good the sound phrase for this Spanish
I'm Jeannie Walden.
Explain.
I'm the Chief Innovation and Marketing Officer at DailyPay, and I'm thrilled to be here to speak with you about my favorite topic on the entire planet: using chaos as a catapult for success.
Totally fine.
I hope that one day when people are thinking about me and the contribution that I've made to the world, they come up with this phrase. I really hope it shows up on Google, because I truly believe that one of the most successful potential opportunities that we as professional women all have is to create success out of absolute chaos.
I think that
now you might be wondering, how does somebody do that? Well, let me start by just talking about where we are today. In today's world, we are living through absolute chaos.
Yeah, we definitely understood,
so guess
and
what?
I'm so sorry
You're
for
already
that
in the perfect position
because
to create
this is the format
success
of the program,
and
so we have to
catapult
stick
that
to
out
it.
of chaos.
Yes.
Think about it.
Yeah, so
there's no other time in the history of humanity, other than maybe the Ice Age,
Jen. It was lovely
where
to
we
have
have
you.
been
Thank you
faced
so much.
collectively at the same time with social concern,
very good
personal
some
safety
phrase
concerns,
for this
financial
explain
unemployment, innovation and marketing, insecurity, and so much more as it relates not to my boss as individuals, but to our family and our friends as a catapult the entire success. You know it right now. You know, I think is that one day when people are thinking about me and the contribution that I'm single one on the opportunity with this phrase, I still hope it shows up on Google because I created success out of that. One of the most successful to yourself potential. How can I do that? What did we as professional women all into to create success out of that will enable me to create success out of chaos and use chaos as a catalyst for good? Well, let me start by let's think about where we are today. Chaos does something to all of we're living through absolute chaos.
Definitely understood.
So from being successful, you're already in the perfect position to create
this is the format of the program,
and
so we
fear
have to stick
that
to
out of
it.
Creates concern for risk.
So
there's no causes in the history of humanity decisions. Maybe the Ice Age. There was a study we had been faced years ago collectively at the same time, and this study showed that women in their early work years, in their 20s and even in their early 30s, were not afraid to take a risk on unemployment. Coincidentally, women of that age and during that time period, as it relates not my favorite parity in the workforce with men. Same the entire success, same opportunity for my family, same day when people are growing at faster rates up to corporate ladder. But they come up with this women when they got into their mid-30s and their late 30s. They started to make decisions which were more secure and risk opportunities. What did you see as professional women chaos into their lifestyle success have created fear? They were afraid to take a risk that could potentially jeopardize themselves, where we are today, their personal health, their family, or the ability for them to take care of their parents, their purity and their siblings, or even their children's success. So women of this age range started to make different decisions, not based out of opportunity, but based on history of safety and security. And that's where we started to see parents years ago at the same time. And this study showed that the parity of the openings were gone between men and women. Men started to succeed in the organization at a higher rate. Coincidentally, there was women of that age, and there was equality in work. And many women felt that they weren't as successful as they could be. Now, what's interesting about that study is that about 20 years later, as women started to age out of that fear factor and that age of fear and move into their retirement, they started to take more decisions. At this point, they hadn't had any reason to take care of their parents any longer. Their children were grown. Their siblings were old enough to take care of themselves. And what they were raised to was naturally so that's why we see so many women in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s being so successful, reinventing themselves, being on board, their siblings being in political roles and roles of key leadership where they're making a difference, not just for themselves, but for everyone in the human race. Because when you see an opportunity to inherit chaos, and you're not afraid to take a risk, and then take a chance, that's often as a catalyst for something that you probably never thought was possible in the organization at a high rate. So I've given you an opportunity to listen to a success story that I think we should all relate to. They weren't a success. And that success story has to do now with Steve Jobs. You might remember that when we started to do something, you don't remember that Apple had lost it's on the verge of bankruptcy. They started down on it. The company had given up investment and stockholders, shareholders, especially consumers, were all extremely concerned. We're all about therapy organizations. They were almost afraid they had become worse than their joy life. Let's keep that back. And keep in the 50-60 pace. A company on the brink of disaster. But instead of creating sets of safe and secure decisions and roles of leadership in a group who got very nicely by Microsoft and have that deal with he took the opportunity to create and operate success and you're not in 2001 when you introduced the iPod, the world of Apple and its future was changed for the good. All the way through the early 2000s with the advent of the iPhone, which none of us even knew we couldn't live without until we had movie players. They weren't successful. And that's successful. Into the iPad, and some of these companies give us really interesting tools and connection tools on the market today. Now, that success wouldn't happen if there wasn't a catapult for it, and that catapult came from absolute chaos. It's really interesting when you think about it, because sometimes when it's the darkest, the shiniest and brightest light is just waiting behind it. And that's what I'd love to talk to you about today, is what we're seeing today. In a world filled with chaos, where even murder warnings are expected to come to the United States and kill us all if COVID doesn't damage enough of our lifestyle, we're looking at the opportunity to catapult ourselves and our world into something that is much more successful. Think about it, there's so many technologies today that are being catapulted out of chaos. They come out of a need to do something out of a damaged society. And these elements and these creations are so critical that life as we knew it is going to be very similar to life as we knew it before the eyebrows unimagined waiting behind. So think about this. And that's what I love. Before COVID, many companies today were offering the opportunity to potentially visit a television. It was on a 3 to 5 year trajectory. COVID doesn't damage enough great of our lifestyle for it ever being extremely wide the opportunity to catapult in the first 5 years. But the hope was there. We saw the same thing a few years back when we were looking at the wearable technology space. All of a sudden, when the entire world's quarantined in their home and people start getting sick or start having concerns, telemedicine becomes catapulted out of chaos overnight to the common way to see your doctor or physician. The same things happen with the dear old QR code. And I've got to say, I've seen QR codes from the very beginning days. And while some countries have adopted them and have used QR technology with great success, the majority of the world hasn't adopted QR codes. I mean, why would we? There's other ways to get information and insights. Now, today, at least in the United States, you can't go to a restaurant that hasn't created a copy of their menu on a QR code so that you can have a contactless dining experience that's very safe and very secure. Again, chaos catapulted change in ways that we never thought was possible. This change in the QR codes has significant efficiencies for restaurants and also other shopping and retailing locations. And so has contactless technology. At this point in time, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, everybody has a wallet. You've got Android's wallet. Everybody was pushing contactless technology, but even MasterCard commercials weren't enough to push the average consumer over the edge until chaos ensued. Now today, almost every restaurant and retailer, and especially hotel chain, at least through the United States, is leveraging contactless technology as a way for their customers to feel very safe and secure. I mean, it's brilliant. But chaos catapults change in ways that you might have never thought of. Think about pay. At my company, Daily Pay, we have a very interesting scenario happening. Our CEO and founder looked back into pay as it was handled in the United States since 1942 and found that since the Second World War, pay was being defined by an organization, and the employee had to be okay with that. You might get paid once a week, once every other week, or once a month. It didn't matter. You just had to manage your life to that. And out of that came significant financial challenges. As we've all grown deeper and deeper in debt and needing more finances to create happy families and secure lifestyles, the concept of a pay period defined by a company has become old school. The chaos of having to manage your finances and align them to a company-defined date has created significant difficulty. Income's daily pay, which allows you to access your pay as you make it. And now payday's every day. And now many companies are seeing significant improvements in the bottom line based on transformation of an entire industry. Not only that, but employees are much happier and able to take care of their families. You see, chaos is often the catapult to significant opportunities for success and a very strong positive future. So my closing advice to you is don't be afraid of chaos. Embrace it. Run to risk. Eliminate fear. Hold your breath and dive in, because on the other side, you're going to create incredible opportunities for a significant future of nothing but amazing success. You've got the power in you, and I hope to hear about all of your success stories created out of chaos and how it's catapulted you into the future in the future. Thank you so much. My name is Jeannie Walden, and I hope to connect with you on LinkedIn.